Hey designer, you're listening to episode 127. In today's show, I'm going to be joined by Jennifer Davis of Davis Interiors. Not only is Jennifer the founder of a full-service interior design firm that does incredible work, she's also the creator of the Midwest Design Retreat, which I will be one of the keynote speakers at, and we could have the opportunity to work together live and in person. Today, Jennifer and I are talking all about how attending professional retreats and conferences can really help you grow your interior design business and bring energy and new life into your day-to-day after you return. Welcome to the Interior Design Business CEO, the only show for designers who are ready to confidently run and grow their businesses without the stress and anxiety. If you're ready to develop a bigger vision for your interior design business, free up your time, and streamline your days for productivity and profit, you're in the right place. I'm Desi Cresswell, an award-winning interior designer and certified life and business coach. I help interior designers just like you stop feeling overwhelmed so they can build profitable businesses they love to run. Are you ready to confidently lead your business, clients, and projects? Let's go. Hello, designer. Welcome back to the podcast. So glad to have you here as always, and so glad to have my guest for today, Jennifer Davis of Davis Interiors. We are going to have an excellent episode for you and share also a really cool opportunity that's coming up for us to meet in person. So welcome to the show, Jennifer.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, it's so wonderful. I'm glad we can have this conversation and I can introduce you and all the incredible things you're up to, my designers who are listening. For those of them who are not familiar with you, could you give us a little intro into who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. So I run a residential interior design firm in Minneapolis. We focus primarily on full service luxury design. And I am also the founder of the Midwest Design Retreat, which is an exclusive, immersive experience that we're hosting here in Minneapolis, allowing attendees to really build a community and dive deeper into their processes and their profitability and spend one-on-one time with our amazing speakers like yourself who will be at the retreat.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this. Of course, I'm excited to share with those who decide to join us. And I'm also really excited about everyone learning from the others who are going to be there as well. There's some really smart, talented women that are a part of this retreat, of course, yourself included. And it's going to be amazing. And we'll give people more of the download of the details later on. But to give a little bit of background on why you're here, I recently went to Las Vegas and moderated a panel for Classic Home. And that was just such an incredible experience. I know I talked about it here on the podcast. And then when we were meeting for lunch, you were talking about you were going to, was it KBIS, I think?
Yes.
And you were going to be on a panel. And I started thinking about just how impactful retreats are. Of course, I knew that and was already excited to be a part of Midwest Design Retreat, but also just coming off the heels of being away and being in the energy of being with really the design community and getting to have those in-person conversations. I thought, this would be a great time for us to come together and talk about why is it such a wonderful opportunity an investment in your business to attend one of these conferences or retreats. So I'm excited to dive into that.
Yes. I think taking the time to step away from your business and away from the day-to-day operations is really helpful. And the retreat offers an experience where it almost feels like you are on this luxury vacation while still learning about ways to invest and grow your business.
Oh, absolutely. And, I've certainly been to a variety of events and, sometimes have my own little mini retreats with myself, even if, it's not necessarily going to something, but having that opportunity to check in with yourself, check in with your goals, and check in with the business as its own entity. It's such a critical piece of being a designer CEO. And I was thinking about our conversation today. I was kind of thinking, when is the best time to attend a retreat or conference? because it is an investment in your business. And, for me, I know with, my kids are 8 and 11, so they're not little, but it's also a disruption to our family when I leave. And so, it had me thinking around like just when is a good time to go, or how do you know if maybe a retreat or a conference is right for you right now? And I'd love to hear what you have to say about that.
I think anytime that you feel like you are ready to level up in your business is the right time to go. So for someone, that could be the first couple of months that they're starting their business. For someone else, it could be 6 years into the business. I had this experience last year where I knew I was ready to take my business to the next level, but I just couldn't figure out what it was. I felt like a Roomba, like hitting the walls. I had all this energy to do something, but I didn't know what it was yet. And I think when you're around other people, especially for creatives, I think that like it energizes us and inspires us, and sometimes can unlock things that are just like right there waiting to happen for us. I really don't think there is a wrong time. I just think it's whenever you're ready to take your business to the next level, or you're struggling with something. Maybe you are producing excellent design work, but you're struggling with selling it, or you're having a hard time finding your ideal client. Any of those would be a great time to invest.
Yes. And when I was considering this for myself and just thinking about other opportunities that my clients have engaged with, there is something about attending a retreat where there's this very like 360 holistic approach. And that really resonates to me with what you were saying about there's something kind of feeling off, right? Or I know I'm ready to step up in some way, but I haven't necessarily put my finger on exactly what it is or how I might want to solve that challenge in the business. And I think that retreats really offer a unique opportunity to poke at the business essentially in different ways, right? So, whether it is like the marketing you said, or the client experience, or processes, or profitability, you're exposing yourself to so many different perspectives and ways of doing things, which I think for so many designers is like an amazing thing, right? That there's so many ways you could do things, but it's also infuriating at times. But when you put yourself out of your own little bubble and into a new bubble that's curated for you, you have something you bump up against or have something to react to where you're hearing, yes, this professional does it this way, and that feels really aligned. This professional's offering this approach, and maybe that doesn't feel quite right for you. And I think both can be really valuable in that we sometimes will know, yes, that's the path that I want to take, but sometimes also knowing, oh, that doesn't actually sound like me. That maybe I need to do a little bit differently. Having both sides or multiple perspectives, I think can really help us guide us towards what's right for us.
I agree. I think really helps you define and then refine how you're running your business in any of those aspects that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know one of the things that I'm going to be helping the designers who attend sort through is, what do I do with this information? Because I know sometimes that can be a really overwhelming piece of going to a retreat, is that you have all these really successful people here telling you these are ways you could approach that. And really distilling down what is for me, what isn't for me, what am I going to implement now, what's a later idea, and deciding how you want to move forward with that, right? After you get out of that bubble of creativity and inspiration. And really, I was thinking about the words that I would use to describe a retreat experience, and so much of it is possibility. Wouldn't you agree?
I do agree.
Mm-hmm.
And I love what you just said about taking all the information and deciding what works for you now, because it is a lot of information and there are people that will be at all different stages of their business. So what does that mean to you personally? And so that you take action items away from it and start implementing something, but maybe not all of it right away.
Yeah. And it's so much, I think, about planting the seeds of where you are and where you might want to be, and having that exposure to the different business models, to the different ways of operating, to the different employee structures. As you then go back and live your life, run your business back in reality, it's like that's all humming in the background for you then around it's going to change the way that you're interacting with your business and start to offer up new ideas even when you're not actively working on some of those things that you're taking away, which I think is a huge benefit because the retreat offers you that mental space and also the physical space too of changing locations. I think can be really helpful as well of just kind of it like jogs something in the brain and you are different because of it.
I agree. I hope it's a space where people can feel validated in some of the things that they're currently doing in their business, as well as kind of pull the curtain back and learn what other people are doing. I think there's so many questions that designers have, like, am I pricing the way other people are pricing? Because you go up against other designers and bid for jobs, and just to kind of know that you're on the right path or know that maybe you should be charging more in your business or things like getting published. It doesn't have to be this big, scary thing. And just hearing some of the tips and tricks that our speakers and other attendees have used to get where they are, I think is really important as well.
The other thing I was thinking about with benefits of attending this retreat, and it goes back to what you were just saying of being validated in what you're doing. I think sometimes being a small business owner, or even if you have, a slightly larger team of 5 to 8 people, it is a silo in so many ways. And, I know for a lot of my clients, they maybe have worked for 1 or 2 other designers or never worked for a designer. And there's this feeling of, am I doing this the right way? Do I actually know what I'm doing? And sometimes I think in addition to getting that new information about how you're going to proceed, what can be equally valuable is going and having that validation of actually, I am on the right path. And hearing from other people that maybe they have the same challenges or maybe they do it the same way, and knowing that you're not alone in this and you've got peers who are walking the same path, even if you don't interact with them on a daily basis or, are actively even, engaging with them.
Absolutely. And you mentioned peers. I think that's another big benefit of attending a retreat is that you form this sense of community because you've been with this group of people for 3 days in a very intimate setting. And as a result, this community is formed that you can lean into long beyond attending the retreat.
For sure. One other thing that I just want to pull out too is the shift that happens inside of you with being in that space. I was reflecting on when I went to Design Bloggers Conference, which they don't even call it that anymore because blogging is like not the thing. Well, I think blogging and, Substack and all of that's having maybe a resurgence. But anyways, I was thinking back to that and the shift that happens in you of putting yourself in the space with other people, of going and saying, I'm going to make space for this in my life, in my business. I belong here. I'm someone who can go and stretch myself and be a little uncomfortable and come out better because of it. I think that's a huge benefit too of just that internal self-concept shift that happens as well.
I love that concept of feeling just a little bit uncomfortable because as business owners, we know you have to feel a little bit uncomfortable in order to grow.
Yeah, I think it's the only path.
Agreed.
I mean, I think there's always that ebb and flow of like, let's let ourselves have a little bit of comfort because we don't want to always be pushing ourselves beyond our capability or what is our current identity. But I think attending a retreat is an opportunity really to step into a new level of self-leadership for yourself. And of course, you can definitely attend a conference or a retreat with a peer or a business partner, and that could be amazing. But also saying like, you know what, I'm going to go and I'm going to meet someone new and it's going to be amazing. That can really shift things for you as well.
I agree. I think it's very empowering, but it can be a little bit scary. It's out of your comfort zone. You don't know where the other level of attendees are at in their business, but we all have a little bit of imposter syndrome, even the really big, famous designers. And I think there's comfort in knowing that everybody feels the same way or has felt the same way.
Yeah. Do you have any tips for what you do when you go into new situations like that?
I don't have any tips for that. I just show up and face it head on. I once signed up to do one of those mud runs, and I'm not athletic at all. And I didn't even think about it until it was the day of the race, and I just showed up and did it. And I think sometimes when things are scary for me, I don't put a lot of thought or energy around it. I just show up and know that I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? I've done that with a lot of things.
Absolutely. I mean, that indicates a high level of self-trust, I think.
I've never really thought about it that much.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I remember I can't remember who said this to me, but I always focus on being interested versus being interesting. I thought that was such a great perspective and so aligned with how I like to operate in the world, with just like genuine curiosity or fascination about people. And I think what it really does is it shifts you out of being me focused to we focused or focused on the other person. And it's a great way to start a conversation is to just be curious. And I think it can really lower down those anxiety levels when you are feeling nervous about being in a new group of people.
That's funny. I always love that first meet and greet, whether it's in a social setting or a professional setting, where you just get to learn all the things about people. So maybe instinctively I lead that way already, but it is really fun. It's really fun to hear people's story and all the good things.
Yeah. So many interesting backgrounds of where designers come to being the business owner. I love it.
It's great.
All right. So, I mean, I think we've gone on and on now about why a retreat can be so beneficial. Why don't you go ahead, Jennifer, and give us the details of the Midwest Design Retreat, starting with who's it for? Can anyone come? Is it supposed to be for a certain type of design business owner? Give us the specifics.
The Midwest Design Retreat is for designers at any stage of their business who are just looking to take their business to the next level.
That's great to know that anyone can attend. I think there's always so much value to be gained with learning from people ahead of you and also being someone who can have more experience, but also revisiting things that are foundational. And so there's going to be a huge mix of the topics that are being covered. Can you give us a little bit more information on what are people going to walk away with? What can they expect to be hearing conversations around?
The topics we'll be covering at the retreat range from pricing and profitability to marketing and branding, scaling your business, processes and workflow, how to use AI to be more efficient, and then wellness, which you're going to talk about.
Absolutely. We're definitely going to dive into the wellness piece in terms of creating that work-life blend as the CEO. And so much of that is that CEO mindset. And then also very much, we're going to be talking about the emotional piece of running your business and supporting yourself through the highs, the lows, the challenges, the wins, and leading yourself through these iterations of the business as you go. Because of course, as we achieve one thing, new problems are created, new goals are set, right? It's this cyclical process of being a CEO. So I'm really excited to talk about that. And then I'd love for you to share who are the other presenters, because we have some really good ones lined up.
So we have Katie from JCath. She is one of the owners of JCath Design, Build, and Reinvent, which is located here in Minneapolis. She will be bringing a great perspective to the retreat on how to work effectively with your contractors and builders so that you have a successful relationship. She is also great at marketing. She has an amazing Instagram following. We also have Melissa, who is the principal and owner of Oho Interiors, speaking. Melissa is also fantastic. She has a residential interior design firm based out of Colorado and Minnesota.
I'm really looking forward to hearing from Melissa on the whole working in and out of state. I think that's going to be really valuable for our attendees.
Yes, I agree. And they have projects all over the U.S. And she has grown her firm so quickly in such a short amount of time that I also have so many questions for her. And then we have Kate from O'Hare Interiors. Kate is the CEO and creative director of O'Hare Interiors. And Kate is an amazing leader and businesswoman that has so much to share, from marketing to scaling your business. And they also have 2 locations. They are located in Texas and in Minnesota.
Yes, Kate is just a phenomenal businesswoman. Her ability to grow this large scale team in multiple locations, she has such financial savvy when it comes to an interior design business. She's going to be a huge asset to these conversations. I'm really excited to hear from her.
I agree. They're all amazing. And I personally can't wait to ask them so many questions myself.
And tell us now, Jennifer, what are you going to be sharing with attendees?
I will be sharing how to be more efficient with your day-to-day workflow and how you can leverage AI to do that.
I'm excited to hear more about that. That is not something I've leaned into a whole lot, but I know I need to get a little bit more expertise around.
Yes, you're going to come into the studio. We're going to teach you some things.
You're going to give me the AI 101, right?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So clearly, we've got some smart, talented women. We're going to cover some really valuable topics that are going to help with profitability, streamlining your business, bringing in ideal clients. That's all going to be amazing. And then we have to talk about this whole experience of where everyone's going to stay.
Yes. So as an interior designer, the experience that we put forward for you is really important to us. So the event is being hosted at the Hewing Hotel, which is very Scandinavian. So if you're an out-of-state guest, you'll kind of get that feel for the Midwest. We have a lot of exciting, fun activities outside of the learning portion of the retreat. The first night that you arrive at the retreat, we're having an off-site party at the Visual Comfort Showroom, which will be super fun. And the second night, we are going to head to the All Inc. showroom and check out all of the new luxury appliances. And then we'll head back for a wonderful dinner at Tullaby.
Nice. I have to tell you, this is kind of funny. I was at where I do my strength training, and I was telling my personal trainer about this. And he's like, wow, I mean, this sounds fancy. Like, it's going to be a big deal. And I said, well, yeah, we can't expect the designers to come to some ugly place. Right? Designers don't do not stylish. So, of course, we have to have this at a really well-designed, top-notch place. So I think the whole experience is going to be incredible. And I really encourage all of you to go check out the website. Jennifer, can you give us the website for that?
Sure. It's midwestdesignretreat.com.
And then it's on Instagram, I think at the same handle, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So if you are kind of interested, you're like, yes, this sounds like it could be what I want to invest in for my business next, definitely head over to either Instagram or the website. And you can also reach out to me or to Jennifer directly if you've got questions. But the retreat is coming up in not too long. What are the dates again? Can you share that?
It's May 5th, 6th, and 7th.
All right. So springtime, perfect for getting out and about. And you'll find all the details there. But like I said, if you've got questions, you can always reach out directly to us. And I know I certainly would love to see some podcast listeners there and get to meet you all in person and have an opportunity to work together, whether that's in the sessions or mingling and chatting outside of those, because that can be really fun as well.
We would love to see everybody there.
Is there anything that you for sure wanted to let listeners know that we haven't covered, Jennifer?
I did want to mention that as an attendee of the retreat, you will be able to talk with you, for example, with Desi one-on-one. If you had some questions just some great burning questions that you want answered, or if you have a question of one of our speakers, there will be plenty of time at the dinners and during snack breaks and happy hours to spend some one-on-one time with the speakers and vendors. If you're looking to strengthen some of your vendor partnerships too, we have lots of great sponsors that will be there.
Yeah, there'll be plenty of opportunities to connect. Of course, I'm excited to share the sort of informational piece of things, but also what I'm really excited about is getting to have those side conversations and meet with the designers who are there and get to know them personally and hear what they're really excited about in their business, but also what's challenging and offer support in any way that I can.
I love that. And I will say one of the biggest things for us as far as growth in the last year has been relationships. And this is a perfect place to come to build those relationships.
Yes. Well, that feels like a great place to wrap up, Jennifer. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope that everybody checks out the Midwest Design Retreat website to get the details and maybe see some of you there. I'll, of course, be back next week with a brand new episode. And if you aren't already subscribed, make sure you do that. So that way, the latest and greatest just pops up in your podcast feed without you having to do anything. Until we talk again next Wednesday, I'm wishing you all a beautiful week.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for joining me for this week's episode of the Interior Design Business CEO. If you want more tips, tools, and strategies, visit www.desiCresswell.com, where you'll get immediate access to a variety of free resources to help you take what you learn on the podcast and put it into action. And if you love what you're hearing, be sure to rate, review, and follow the show wherever you listen to podcasts to ensure you never miss an episode. I'll talk to you next week.